everyone, it's Lainey. Welcome back and welcome if you're new. I am going to make a spring themed wreath today. I saw this on Wayfair and wanted to recreate it and share it with you guys. So the supplies that I'm going to be using today, I have these burlap fabric rolls from Dollar Tree. I purchased 2 just in case. I have my hot glue gun, my mini press, these wooden embroidery hoops. I have a bunch of them because I like to dabble in cross stitch and embroidery. But you can find these anywhere. I purchased these from Amazon in a embroidery pack, but nevertheless, I also cut out an iron-on sentiment that we're going to iron on the burlap. And lastly, I've got 3 bunches of these really pretty spring faux flowers. And these are from Walmart. They were 97 cents. And like I said, I purchased 3, but now based on the hoop size, I think I'm only going to need to use 2. But first things first, we need to set up our burlap. So what I'm going to do is take these apart from each other. And if you've never worked with this before, it's just got the little metal tool or the metal piece here. You just unscrew it and it loosens the outer ring up. So that's what I did there. And now let's open this up and see how much we have. So what this is intended for, the burlap, is to create a pocket for the flowers to be placed in. And this is obviously all curled because it's been wrapped up in a roll. But I think 1 is going to be just fine. I'm going to magnetize this down and stretch this out a bit. If you wanted to iron this before you started to kind of play with it and build your wreath, that is definitely a good idea as well. So since I have it folded, I basically am folding it where I feel like the pocket is going to be enough size, right? Because we're going to have to fit the flowers in the pocket. And granted, I'm going to have to trim these down and play with these a bit because this is a smaller wood hoop. But you can size this however you want. It's just depending on the size hoop that you have or purchase. For me, I live in a 5th wheel full time and travel with my husband for his job. So our front door is not a typical size front door. So I'm going smaller because our front door is smaller and our front door window as well. Alrighty, so I have it magnetized down like I stated, and I've got the fold about a little less than halfway. So what I want to do now is take this solid ring here and place it underneath, keeping the adjustable ring on top, okay? So that is really the only thing that you really need to know from this is just how to position the rings. So now you can just loosen the mechanism here to make the ring wider so it can go over the ring underneath. And what I'm doing is just pressing down on my table, and now I'm going to, let's see if we can do this a little better here. Making sure that it is aligned and centered. All right, so holding this down as I try to tighten up the top ring here. And what that is going to do is make all of this tight, and it will no longer shift. It is shifting a bit because this burlap between the 2 wood rings, it's kind of slippery, but once you start tightening the ring up, you'll be able to manipulate the fabric a bit more. So what I'm doing is just going around the entire ring and pulling the fabric out so it's tighter, and I'm just keeping my fingers pressed on the wooden ring and then pulling up the fabric, okay? And you can definitely tell that it's a lot tighter. And I'm just going to tighten it up as much as my little fingers can stand. Oh, I think that is it. It's not turning anymore. So it is tight. So now you can see that we've got our pocket here, and it is quite tight. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn on my hot glue gun so this can start heating up. Place it right there on the side of my glass mat. And I'm going to come in with my scissors, and what I want to do is trim off this excess and leave enough to fold in and then hot glue to the inside of the wooden ring. So I'm just going to start to cut it down, leaving maybe an inch of material around the wooden ring itself. Got a little short there, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just need enough material to fold in and glue down. And you're gluing it down just so it is a prettier look aesthetically. I mean, I guess you could keep it like that too. That's unique. And if you didn't want to do the hot glue gun, you could always do a needle and thread around and then tighten it. That's a technique that you do for embroidery. But personal preference, this is much easier. And, uh-oh, I cut that way too short. This is going to be easier and faster than bringing out the needle and thread. The hot glue gun is just an easy tool to use. Alrighty, so I've got to just try to bring all this stuff back out, just to make it tight. Just going around and keeping my fingers on the wood rings and pulling that burlap out. Okay. And now keeping the glue on the ring, because if you can see there that this burlap material that I have is really thin. So I don't want to glue to the burlap because you'll be able to see that on the front side. So I just want to keep it on the wood ring itself, okay? Let's just start to glue. Just place a little glue there and make sure, oh goodness, make sure it's tight and fold it, hold it, and it's glued down. So I'm noticing that some areas are a bit too long, so I'm just going to trim those down. And just work in sections. And if you've got finger protectors, definitely use that, because the hot glue is going through this burlap, as it should, because of the material. But just be careful. Some of our fingers are more sensitive than others. Alright, so I have it all glued down, and I'll bring it up closer to the lens there so you can kind of see. And it's just glued all along the inside ring. And now I'm going to turn it over, and here you can see that it is aligned in the center. And once more, we've got the pocket, and it looks pretty clean. So I need to turn off my hot glue gun and do a mid-craft cleanup, and then we'll come back with the iron-on sentiment. So now that this is done, I'm going to bring in my iron on and turn on my mini press to level 1, which is 1 wavy line, and let that start to heat up. And weed out this phrase here. It just says hello. You could do hello or welcome. You could change this to be a seasonal phrase as well. But I just cut this out in regular HTV in white, or iron-on, whichever name you prefer. I've never used this iron-on before. It was just really inexpensive from Amazon, and it is very sticky. It's not really wanting to remove from the carrier sheet. I hope I don't run into any issues as I try to iron this down on the burlap. We will see. Yeah, this is kind of making me nervous. There we go. All right, our heat press just chimed. It is ready. And I've just got 2 more letters to weed out here. And there you have it, hello. And I just typed in hello in Cricut Design Space, and I really liked this font style. I thought it was a playful script, so I thought that this would be good for the front door. Okay, bringing this back in, and now we're going to place this down. Just looking at it to make sure that it is positioned the way that I want. And it helps me if I hold it up. So I think that that is a good position, and that white really stands out on top of that burlap. So what I'm going to do is just come in and apply the heat and constant movement, because this little mini press here, it acts like a regular iron, and you don't keep a regular house iron fixed, you move it around. And I'm not able to apply firm pressure to this because there's nothing behind it, but you could definitely place like a towel or something underneath it so you could get more of a good press, which I may, let's see, yeah, just kind of lining the corner up in the bottom of the circle here. And now I'm able to get a better press, a little more pressure. Okay, so the standard time is typically 25 to 30 seconds, but I did quite a bit more because I'm just monitoring my material and monitoring my iron on, and it visually looks like it needed more. So I'm going to remove the heat press and turn this over to allow the heat to draw from the materials here, so I can remove the liner as a cool peel. Okay, so now I am just going to very carefully peel this back. And once again, this is a new product to me, and you know, the carrier sheet is super sticky, so some of it's kind of wanting to peel up, but I know that it's really this carrier sheet because I had problems with weeding. Alrighty, so I'm not going to apply any more heat. It is bonded to the fibers. If I turn my work to the side, I can really see that the iron-on is ironed down and bonded. This carrier sheet is just ridiculously sticky. And there you have it. This is just another creative craft that you can create with a little help from your Cricut Joy Xtra. So for the colorful part, we need to add the flowers, and I also brought out some of this chiffon ribbon. You can find this on Amazon. I will link their spring collection down below, but I did purchase these from Hobby Lobby. It is from the Paper Studio. So I've got this white here, which would pair great because it is a true white as the iron-on is. But then I also have this pale pink, which there is a little bit of pink in the flowers. So we'll do that last because I want the flowers in here, and then I'll want to see what chiffon ribbon I want to use after the flowers are positioned. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna have to trim this stuff down, and it's got 3 notches here. I'm gonna cut at the second one. Try to, maybe I can bend it and break it. Yeah, bending it helps a little better. Okay, so trying to kind of see, I think the flowers look better this direction. So just scooching my flowers down as far as they'll go. And I honestly didn't want to use these flowers. I wanted to just buy eucalyptus, real eucalyptus, but I wanted to show you something that was spring related. just to give you a little more inspiration, but know that I wanted to go even more simple with this, with just a eucalyptus or even a baby's breath. And these are quite nice because it does have the metal in there, so I'm able to kind of play with some of this and position them in a different way, because ideally it's going to be looking like this, right? It doesn't matter kind of how it looks from the top because no one's going to see that. Everyone's going to walk up towards it or see it from a distance. So I'm just going to repeat the process here. I'm just going to bend at that second little notch and break the wire. Okay, let's remove the tag. I may have to cut some of these leaves off or maybe tuck them down in. I think I'm going to have to trim some of them, honestly. Okay, so those flowers that I originally purchased, they're too full. So what I'm learning from this project, you want something more like this, how the leaves are more flat and there's not really any big flowers itself. I did purchase this one as well. These are both from Hobby Lobby and they're already kind of flat. If you can see that, they're not like the roses where you want the full bud facing the viewer. So it wasn't working. So I went to this, I stopped at what I was doing, went to the store, picked these two up, and what I've been doing is just trimming pieces off. I have these tools here, which I use for my cutting dies for card making. I will do my best to link these down below. It came with a 2-pack, and it is making my life so much easier just cutting some of these stems off and placing them in the door wreath type thing, whatever you want to call it. So this is kind of what I've been working with, and I'm just trimming them off the bunch, and then some of them I am trimming a little shorter and some I'm leaving long, so there's the variation in size and height. So it really looks good like this, but I wanted to see how it would look if it was a little more full, and I can take away as I want. But you know what? I think it's got plenty of these flowers. I think what I need to add is maybe more of this here, and it's just labeled floral. They both are, I believe. Yeah, they both are, and the floral is 40% off. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to cut this apart. And this one's really nice because these leaves are like a felt material, and they just look so much better visually, and then they're also, you know, looking a lot better in this door hanger as well. So I positioned all the pink ones first, and then was kind of just coming in with the accent piece. And I was originally just going to do the yellow, and then I came across these pink buds and I had to get these two. They pair well together in my opinion, but just different heights, kind of fill it out as you want. Let's see here, let's grab another little bunch here that's got just 4 on it. And place it behind the flowers. Right, so now you can see the flowers and how it has the different heights. I hope the camera's picking up the detail. I think these are so pretty and they look so good with the burlap and then the white. So for the hanger, you could use burlap again, jute twine. I'm going to use the chiffon, and now that I have all of this pink incorporated with the flowers, I think I'm going to use white to tie that in again, and you know, make it however long that you want. And I'm just placing it through the hoop and trying not to mess up any of my flowers. Let's get this even. And what do I want to do? I think I want to just tie a bow, and then the bow can be on the hook itself. Let's see. So I kind of did a double knot there, and now I'm just trying to pull the loops out a bit so I can make them a little more full. I think that that is super cute. So now what I want to do, because this is a double knot, remember, I'm going to trim the tail off because it's got too much going on if I leave the tails on. Since this is not a very long hanger, do what you want. This is your project, what you have to look at every day. Okay. And there. So now you can kind of see the bow, and it'll just hang. If I can position this well, it'll just hang just like that. I think this is so cute. I really like the soft colors. Perfect for moving into the spring season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video, everyone.